virtual worlds are so big, there's so many worlds and games, and you'll see the future is amazing. 안녕하세요. Hello everyone at G-Star and to all Korean gamers. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My name is Sébastien Borget. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Sandbox, and I'm going to talk to you today about the future of gaming in virtual worlds. What is the Sandbox? The Sandbox is a gaming virtual world where players and creators can make 3D assets and game experience and monetize them through the use of blockchain technology, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, as well as our Sand token. On our platform, we have four main tools. One is called Voxel. It's a 3D editor where you can make 3D assets, animate them, and then publish them on the marketplace. The marketplace is this online website, the second tool on our platform, where all your creations are uploaded and can be tokenized as non-fungible tokens, allowing you to start selling them, trading them, and monetizing them between users. The third component on our platform, which is already available in alpha, is the Game Maker. The Game Maker is a simple software on PC and Mac that you can download and use to create game experience without any programming knowledge. It's just amazing, just drag and drop, no code required. You can start making great games using the content that you either bought on the marketplace or created yourself using Voxel. Finally, the last component is the game client, which will be launching in beta at the end of this year in December 2020, and will enable you to essentially start creating your avatar, join social hubs, play with friends, interact, and play all the games made and published on our map, on our land, in the virtual world, starting December 2020. The Sandbox has a strong track record. Our team has more than 10 years of experience in gaming. We have over 60 major partnerships, including with major gaming studios like Atari or Roller Coaster Tycoon, with major IPs and brands, Shaun the Sheep, Care Bears, the Smurfs, Roller Coaster Tycoon as well. Many more will be announced over the coming weeks and months. And all these brands have a presence in our virtual world, allowing the creators to make games and play games with their favorite characters and brands, participating in this vision that you can see in Ready Player One movie, where, like all the characters, Batman and the others, they come into one single world and you can just interact and play all sorts of experience with all of them. So that's kind of like the long-term vision that we are building with Sandbox, using the platform, the technology, blockchain and NFTs that will enable many possibilities I'm going to talk about right after. And you'll see the future is amazing. How is the Sandbox tying into virtual worlds? That's a very good question. The Sandbox is a user-generated content platform. As a creator, you can make amazing games using the tools I've just described you. But there's something more. Actually, in Sandbox, you also have a map, a large map composed of 464 lands in total, and there will be never ever any more. That's part of the beauty of using this blockchain technology. We'll talk a little bit more about it as well right after. You can really own a piece of the metaverse, a land, which is like a digital space where you can publish your game on our platform. And this land is part of this map. It has a precise location, and the location is going to be important in how players are going to discover your game, explore the map, and play the overall experience. So it's not just like a gallery where there will be an unlimited number of games. We're really tied in this map, in this virtual world. As a player with your avatar, once you enter a world, you can move into the next world by moving to the edges of it and then being teleported to the neighborland in the new spawn point. So there will be a lot of exploration and the location of your land is really important in this paradigm. Additionally, in the Sandbox metaverse and this map, we have major partners and brands who also have a point of presence. So the location of the lands that you choose to publish your game is going to matter. If your game is essentially located near Atari or near one of the main Korean partners, for example, like Playda, SBS Game Academy, Sandbox Network, just to name a few, then your game has more chances to be found by players. You will get more players moving and using our transportation system from either the portals, connecting those partner lands, or just moving from one land to another. And we think it's important to be part of a virtual world. It's not just like having an unlimited number of creation in an online gallery without any connection the one to the other. It's really about this logic of neighborhood, exploration, socializing with other players, participating in the different tournaments that will be available once we launch the beta and in 2021. Being part of a faction and contributing with other players to complete quests together, like in traditional MMORPG games. So the vision of Sandbox is bringing into a 3D virtual world, combining user-generated content on one side and on the other side the key game mechanics, quests, winning, faction, collecting resources, trading resources, monetizing resources now thanks to the use of non-fungible tokens and tokens. And overall, combining all these ingredients makes the Sandbox really unique. It's just more than Minecraft or Roblox because of this metaverse map. Players, gamers, they've been used for more than 20 years now to play into centralized, closed walled garden MMORPG games or virtual world games. What it means concretely is, as a player, anything you earn or you bought using real money, Korean won, US dollar, was actually virtual asset that you didn't really own, because if you could not sell it to other players, you could not exchange it to other players. If you left the game, you actually lost all your belongings from the game. You had no way to actually transfer them somehow in other places. And the main developers behind all those large MMORPG games were restricting the possibility for you as a player to sell part of the content you earn, to sell your player account or transfer it to another user, etc. So these are still very strong limitations that are still present in most of nowadays MMORPG virtual world games. And because we've been growing in games like this for the past 20 years, any in-app purchase we made, any virtual currency we bought in mobile free-to-play games, we never thought of it like something that we could actually take out after or reuse in other way across many games or resell to other users. We've been grown accustomed to the idea of those are perishable goods, those are just consumable that are going to be lost. So we didn't attach any value to those at the end of the day. It just seemed normal. But with the use of blockchain technology, we're finally seeing something new, really interesting opportunity for gamers to appear. This is what we call the open metaverse. In the open metaverse, You no longer have a central authority like a game developer that is going to define what you can do in the game and what you can do with the content you bought in the game. This is what Sandbox is offering, as well as some other decentralized virtual world where all the content, all the tokens and currencies are actually owned by the user via their wallet or their accounts, just to keep things simple. And as such, the users, the players, can transfer those tokens, those belongings as a digital game asset without asking the permission to the game developer. They can do it, just publish their content on other platforms, other marketplaces. They can even use their content in other games that would enable, that will accept those tokens, and even use the content from one game to another as a way to attract the players from one another. We think that the technology is really bringing a major benefit here to the players through this notion of true digital ownership of all the content you either own as a player or, even better, made as a creator. And that's where Sandbox is really differentiating and disrupting against other user-generated content platforms like Minecraft or Roblox. Everything you create is finally yours. So there's the value of the content that you made, that has a sentimental value, added to the existing value that content being potentially scarce, rare, can be sold and appreciated by other players. Yes, indeed. If an item is rare and there is only, let's say, 10 copies of this Magic's World available in the world, before you had to trust the game developer that indeed there was 10 copies. But what prevented the game developer to make 10 more and tell you that yes, there is 10, but actually sell 1,000 to all players around the world? You had literally no way to do that. So you couldn't actually appreciate the real value and the real scarcity of your digital asset. You couldn't transfer those assets to other players. You essentially couldn't leverage the opportunity to own rare content, either as a player or to just sell it to other users. Now with blockchain, we have finally the public ledger, public database that is fully transparent and enables anyone to have the proof of the scarcity of the item. So if there is only 10 copies of Magic's World, you can check it, and indeed then the real value of this word can be appreciated by anyone because you know who owned it, you know there's only 10 available indeed, and as such we are finally building, thanks to the technology, a new layer that enables a real-world economy based on digital game assets. Now that we have a way to prove the ownership and to prove the value of game assets, we can think of like an explosion, a new disruption, a new industrial revolution, I would say, coming from video games, but can be also related into other industries, that will enable in virtual world to create a whole new level and whole new economy based on all the game assets that are created by users or that are earned by players. It's really amazing now to think that we have this economical layer based on the trading of goods with the possibility to prove ownership, scarcity, and we are already seeing that happening today in Sandbox. Now that we have established that an economic layer is possible in virtual world games, a new world of opportunity arises. Before, you used to play, collect resources, trade them, but not being able to actually make any earning from it. So you were playing games essentially for, well, the fun, yes, for the competition, yes, but there was no real way for you to monetize all the content you earn unless you were part of some, e-sport league or high-level competition, high-level players. The way you monetize your game time is essentially streaming your content, but not selling the goods, the digital assets and game items you earned or you created in the game. We think that with this new type of virtual world decentralized that use NFTs and tokens, we're enabling a lot more new possibilities. You can really start seeing many new type of activities and jobs appear. You'll be able to see players come participate in a new economic model called play to earn, where you can come for free and based on the time you spend in the game to collect various resources, these resources are actually valuable for other players like creators, landowners in our metaverse. There will be an economy, a circular economy in place where the resources collected by one category of players are actually sold and will be purchased by another category of players or creators. And as such, there is now a supply and demand for this item. There is an exchange that takes place, and this exchange has a financial value, as a financial reward for the player. So this is essentially the underlying idea behind play to earn. You can transform your playtime into an activity that is, call it work, call it playing, that will generate for you a potential revenue. And if as a player you start understanding how the different mechanics of the game work, you will be able to actually optimize your playtime with the view of optimizing the revenue you can generate. You might look more to do specific kind of activities because specific resources are actually more rare and more in demand at some period of time. It's just really the beginning of something. Now that some players are earning money by farming and entering farming resources and entering into this play to earn loop, a whole new category of jobs can actually appear in virtual worlds. And as the start of this economy is essentially behind this idea of decentralization and the use of NFTs and tokens. How do we make the sandbox accessible to all gamers? Well, I talked about the technology, I've talked about blockchain, NFTs, but this is just a technology that gives benefits to the user. We are not forgetting that the most important thing for a gamer is the fun. We have to make a gameplay that is fun, engaging, make sure that the game looks great for the gamer on all the possible platforms. So we're launching first on PC and Mac toward the end of the year. We'll be releasing more platforms in 2021, including mobile and tablets, and in 2022 and afterwards, consoles and more platforms. And we're always thinking like, what is the experience for each type of user on the platform? As a creator, are our tool accessible, easy, comprehensible, and can you make great stuff with it? Can you create all sorts of games? We'll start with MMORPG type of games, adventures, and we'll add more and more game packages so you can create platformers, shooter, runners, etc. For the game client and what players can see, we're building seasons and a tournament where you'll be able to participate and earn tokens as your faction will win. So there will be an incentive for gamers to come, do all the fun activities and potentially earn prizes at the end of those tournaments. And we'll make sure that all the content, all the games available on the map during those seasons, whether they are made by the community of creators or by our own team will always be fun and engaging and amazing to play. We are also working with big IPs, big brands. We're using their content. We're making sure that, well, those are high quality games as per gamer standard. They are not just small, mobile or hyper casual kind of game. They have to be, well, something that you can literally spend hours into and enjoy. We are also building a lot of social experience via our social hub, where you can come with your avatar. You'll be able to chat, interact with other users, play little activities, and in the future go together, play games, multiplayer games, as well as build together. Co-building is going to be something amazing that's in our roadmap. Finally, we know that content is king. It's not just because we build great tools and a great platform that good content will be available on it. That is why we launched 2 funds to support creators to build amazing content with us. The first fund is called the Creator Fund. It's supporting artists who are building 3D assets with our tool Voxel, animating them or using existing templates, so they have already pre-made animations. And these assets, there's thousands of 3D models, 3D assets that are going to be available for game creators to choose from to build their game experience. So you don't need to know 3D modeling or animating to make games. You can just use those assets made by artists from the supported by our Creator Fund. The second fund is a Game Maker Fund, where we're already supporting 17 teams of creators, including indies, but also professional game studios, who are building the first game experience that will be available in Sandbox Metaverse. We're making sure that the experience of those games will be amazing, and we're organizing a lot of activities and events to bring more and more game creators. We run game jams, and we're seeing dozens of submissions. So every month we have 1 or 2 game jams. It's really exciting, and I invite you to participate to these. So we have other sorts of competition, and essentially we are now showcasing already some of the games that have been built over these past weeks and months. So players can get a feeling of what's coming in Sandbox virtual world. We're also making sure that we take into account all the feedback from the community. All our tools, except the game clients, are already live in alpha or beta version. We have a very active community of several dozen of thousands of members who are giving us on daily basis feedback on how to improve our tool, and we interact with the users directly to make sure that we take this feedback into account and always improve our product. So it's very community driven, and actually, and that's one of the keys for us to make Sandbox accessible, is to make sure that the community is deeply involved in our product at the design level, at the content production level, and also, thanks to the use of this blockchain technology, in the economic incentives of the platform. Yes, that's right. It's for the first time gamers are stakeholders. They are participating very actively in the value creation of the Sandbox platform. And as the Sandbox platform is growing by adding more partners, adding more content, more players, the early supporters who acquire land in our metaverse or who own Sand token are actually benefiting as well from the rewards, not us only as a company. So that's why we believe the Sandbox platform has really this new model offering, and all our community is very actively and deeply involved in the success of Sandbox, and actually also rewarded for all the contribution they are bringing to the platform. That's amazing, and I wanted to give a big thanks to our community around the world, Korea being our #1 community, so it's really, really exciting for us. And And we are looking forward to continue building together the Sandbox metaverse and make it a major success for millions of players. I'm sure that when you were a kid, if you're watching me today and you're following G-Star, you're a real gamer, you've been dreaming of like playing game or making game as a living. Now, I'd like to show you like what could be the future and what your kids can dream of, or potentially you can dream of and be involved with already in Sandbox. So, what sort of new jobs will be available in virtual worlds thanks to the use of these technologies that enables a real economy and exchanges of services and goods with a financial value attached to it? You can have architects. They are going to build the visual environment of the game, without necessarily building the gameplay in it. You can have outfit designers who will allow to make your avatar really unique and customized. You can have farmers, people who are really specialized in collecting one type of resource that you will go to as a shop to buy and exchange from. You can have trainers, people who will explain you how to actually get better at the game and win in specific quests, collect specific kind of resource, optimize your time and value. You can have, well, why not? Tour guides. Virtual worlds are so big, there's so many worlds and games, specifically in Sandbox Metaverse, over 166, 464 lands to discover. So you don't want to spend too much time into going into one or another. Maybe you'll trust someone who will have done the discovery for you and just follow his recommendation. So, well, those are just some possibilities, but I'm asking you the question. What kind of job would you like to do if you were to start earning money by playing in virtual worlds? And that's my conclusion. I'd like to invite you to check Sandbox at www.sandbox.game. Join the metaverse, start looking at all the different tools, maybe try them, they are available to download for free, create content, create games, and well, my recommendation, own a land so you will own a piece of the metaverse and own a piece of the future. Thank you, 감사합니다.